Let's compare the latest game to TV series edition, Last of Us. Let's go.
Well, this week the world premiered the very first episode of The Last of Us, HBO's latest series, and we both watched it, and we wanted to put this together to help you see whether it's just like the game, is it good, is it not, and what we think about the latest season, well, first episode of the series.
So for everyone who hasn't played the game, let's have a quick look at the story of the game. Or synopsis. Synopsis. I hate that word, synopsis.
Why using it?
That just sounds fancy.
Last of Us is a critically acclaimed action-adventure game released by Naughty Dog in 2013 for the PS3. Now, this game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where a deadly fungal infection has wiped out most of humanity.
The game follows the story of Joel, a hardened survivor, and Ellie, a young girl, as they journey across the United States in attempts to reach a resistance group known as Fireflies. Along the way, they must navigate through a harsh and dangerous world, fighting both the infected and other survivors while trying to survive and protect each other.
Well, let's have a look if the series actually lives up to this game itself. Let's start with the actual story.
Well, put into mind that we actually are watching the beginning parts of the TV show, so we actually haven't watched the whole show yet, so hopefully the rest of the show is like the first episode. The story itself is very similar to the game. You can see here some of the gameplay and the footage from the TV show, how similar they both are, which is great to see that you want to see a TV show based on a game.
You mumble in your sleep. You mumble in your sleep.
Actually very similar to the game.
It's like you're playing the game, but real people instead.
No, which is great to see, but there are some differences, or actually a main difference at the moment in the show.
So what we've read is that in the game, the way the infection is spread heavily is through spores, pocket of spores. So you go into an area and you can see this like green in the air, and you want to put on a hazard suit or something on so you don't breathe that in, because if you breathe it in, you get infected. Well, it's been said that they've removed this from the series, and so we're not going to see spores, we're not going to see that throughout the city. So it'd be interesting to see how the infection spread, was it through a bite or something else. I'm not sure why they've done that. But that's okay. So let's look at the casting of Joel and Ellie and how well did they do that compared to the game. So you got Joel, who's played by Pedro Pascal, and you have Ellie, who's played by Bella Ramsey. Now both actors and actresses are from Game of Thrones, so I'm not sure if they did that on purpose, but they absolutely nailed the casting. Those two are splitting images of the actual characters in the game. The way they interact, the chemistry, the way they look, especially Joel, his demeanor, everything. Just
and Ellie,
perfect.
You need Ellie to be a loudmouth.
I'm actually outside. Holy I'm actually outside.
You know,
profanity, swearing.
So it's great to see that they did a great job.
And you know what? Let's look at the actual surroundings of The Last of Us. Does it feel like the game? Like you want to make sure it feels like it. And what do you think?
Yeah, because it's obviously 20 years after all things have went into chaos, so it's great
years?
to... No, it's 20.
20? 30?
20 years. Okay. Yep, if you watch the TV show, 20 years. Okay.
But what they've done absolutely incredible is the actual music. They've decided to use the same composer from the game and bring him along to the TV series, and it just sounds like you're in that world. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And there's some memorable... And there are some memorable moments. There are...
Memorable.
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 There are some key moments in... Shut up. There are some awesome moments.
Memorable. I want you to say it.
I'm gonna say memorable. Okay. There are some memorable moments. Far out. It's like a tongue twister. Memorable moments. There are some memorable... I can't even say it now. There are some memorable moments. Memorable. I can't say it. I keep saying it and then I'm like stuffing it up every time now. Memorable. There are some memorable... I can't say it anymore. I'm going to change the word. Alright. Let's go. Ready?
Alright, let's go.
There is some great moments.
Which are very memorable.
Shut up. In the TV show, especially when you're first introduced to the infected / your neighbor, Mrs. Outer.
So good. So like you're first exposed to her, you don't even know she's infected, and then you see Sarah, and then behind her is Mrs. Alda, and you're like, oh my gosh, turn around, she's there, and then you're like, something's gonna happen, the music pops up, and nothing happens until the next day, or something.
Yeah, until
like
you
that.
see, I guess, the husband, where he's bleeding now, and he points to, around the corner.
Oh my god.
And there you see, I guess, the first infected Mrs. Outer, which is a pretty good moment. But you don't see that in the game.
No,
but
you
it's,
don't.
But it's great to see, I guess, a bit of difference in the TV show.
It actually reminds me of the Resident Evil game, the first time you're playing it, 30 years ago, and then the zombies. And he looks up at you, and you're like, "Oh my gosh!" Like as a kid, like that was.
Yeah. I see a zombie going.
That's what it would look like. And they did that so good, and there's a lot of great moments in the game. One of the saddest moments is when Sarah dies. It's no spoiler alert unless you haven't played the game. But
You just spoiled it for everyone who hasn't watched the TV show or played the game.
they wouldn't be watching the show if they haven't played the game. That's all I'm saying. But Sarah dies, and it's so heartbreaking they've done that. But it needed to be shown. But they've done that really well. It's a really sad moment. And did you miss the secret Easter egg hidden in the start of the series?
Because in the game, you're actually getting infected because of the bad crop that's happening. And in the TV show, you see Joel and his daughter avoid missing eating any flour or bread, which is actually quite unique. When you see the little things that happen within the TV show, you realize how close they were to getting infected.
There are moments where they avoid getting infected because of different circumstances. For example, Joel is on Atkins, so he doesn't eat the bread.
But I'm on Atkins. What now?
Sarah doesn't eat the raisin cookie.
I was thinking we'd make some cookies.
Chocolate chip?
Raisin.
They don't.
And they don't have pancakes in the morning.
So if one of those moments they would have eaten, they would not be in the game. That was interesting.
So that's a cool little Easter egg. It's great to see some exact copies to the game when you're at the T intersection and turning right and you're seeing the cops drive past, to the burning house, to the guys stuck on the side of the road. It's great to see that there's moments in the TV show that are exactly like the game.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on.
Hell. That's Lewis's farm. God. It's Jimmy's place.
What are you doing?
Got a kid, Joe.
So do we. Keep driving.
What do you think you're doing? Keep driving.
I got a kid, Joe. So do we.
We have room.
Somebody else will come along.
Someone else will come along.
One thing that you don't get exposed to though are things. Spoiler alert. But you don't get exposed to the clickers. You don't get exposed to that yet because what they've done is they've built an introduction so well. Like it's an hour and a half almost, and 30 minutes of it is pre-virus. So they've done a great job in storytelling. And you haven't played the game, you haven't watched it though, I recommend you do one thing first. Play the game. It's only 20-25 hours. Not long. Just call in sick.
But the TV show does a great job of introducing, I guess, the characters in the story without needing to know or ever played the game.
Well, you let us know. Should you be playing the game first or watching the episode?
Yep, and we do love doing game to movie reviews and comparisons. So check out these two videos where we have a look at Uncharted and the latest Mortal Kombat movie. Are they great game to movie adaptations?
Well, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
I don't know what this is. See ya.